Words. They make up our vocabulary and are, next to gesture and grunts, humanity's go-to form of communication. For the vast majority of us, words are just that, a way of converting a physical thing or abstract idea into sound, to be understood by the listener and converted into thought in their mind. And for many of us, this process is automatic. What's the word that comes to mind when you see this? Or this? See? No thought needed. But what about when you see this? Or this? If your vocabulary doesn't have a specific word for this, then you may have to think for a little. The vast majority of words started out like this. Pieces of information which could only be expressed through use of pre-existing words. The study of these origins is called etymology, and this video will discuss the interesting origins of not-so-interesting words. Let's start where some learning happens. The classroom, with probably the first thing you learn, numbers. And where better to start than zero? Interestingly enough, zero was introduced to English from the Italian word zero, which came from medieval Latin zepiro, from Arabic cifr, meaning empty. But what may be less well known is that another word in English derived from cifr, cipher, which originally meant any numeral, but now often refers to a way of encoding information. The French word chiffre still holds the same meaning of digit. Next we can move up a few numbers, or ciphers, up to 5. The words 5, fist, finger, punch, and quintessential all derive from the same word. Proto-Indo-European penque, meaning 5. The punch here refers to the drink, from Hindi panch, meaning 5, referring to the original recipe's 5 ingredients: spirits, water, lemon juice, sugar, and spice. And here's something about quintessential, whose meaning now means relating to the ultimate essence of something. A quintessence is something that is perfect, a model example. Let's break down that word. Quinta essentia, fifth element. As in the fifth element of the ancient world. Water, earth, air, fire, and ether, the purest element. Now that we've learnt our basic numbers, we can move on to calculating things. Speaking of calculating, dreaded calculus is the origin of the word calculate. But what could calculus mean in Latin? Equation? Formula? Well, try pebble. Formed from calx, limestone, which also entered English as chalk, plus ulus, a diminutive suffix, the word refers to the small stones used in an abacus. And that word comes from a Latin word, which comes from a Greek word, which is probably related to a Hebrew word, meaning dust. Two things you will hopefully learn before calculus are surds and sines. Both have pretty interesting etymologies. The surd in surd is the same surd in absurd. Both come from the Latin word surdus, meaning deaf. The term came to mean deaf to reason, irrational, and surd is still used in linguistics to mean voiceless. Sine is a doublet of sinus. Both come from Latin sinus, meaning curve, bend, and most importantly, bosom, a translation of Arabic jabe. Now, if you know anything about Arabic, you'll know that, at least traditionally, they don't write their vowels. So jabe, meaning bosom, looks the same as jiba, meaning sign, from Sanskrit jiva. So the translation into Latin sinus, meaning bosom, is a complete mistake.